Now that we looked at everybody's baby pictures and grandbabies, we can start the meeting.
Well, if you'd like me to,
Show mine, yeah, show mine.
you've got too many.
You saw your photo with all of your children.
Yeah, Katie, I want to see.
But anyway, well, we're the library family, so, okay. Well, okay, Nadine is on her way. So I'll call the meeting to order. And pursuant to provisions of 2.68.030 of the Metro Code of Laws, please take notice that decisions of the National Public Library may be appealed and the Chancery Court of Davidson County for review under common law writ of certiorari. Any appeal must be filed within 60 days after entry of a final decision by the board. Any person or other entity considering an appeal should consult with an attorney to ensure that time and procedural requirements are met. And as far as public comments are concerned, pursuant to TCA 8-44-12, time is reserved at the beginning of the library board meetings for which there is an actionable item on the agenda for public comment germane to items on the agenda. Up to 5 people will be allowed up to 3 minutes each to speak. Speakers must register within 1/2 hour prior to the beginning of the meeting by signing their name on a physical sign-up sheet available at the entrance and identifying any agenda item on which they intend to comment. Do we have any people today speaking for the public? Okay. Well, I don't have much. The only thing I want to do is to say thank you for everything that anybody who was involved in the Donaldson opening. It was fantastic. So we have, thank you guys, we have, yes. There
Mr. Donaldson
was
right
so
here.
much work.
Got the shirt free.
And the publicity that went out, the people gathered, I mean, it was magnificent. It was magnificent. And I hear that people are still coming in droves. So I just want to just no words, really. I don't know if anybody else wants to say anything because there was so many of the board people there. I don't know if you all have any comment or anything. No, just thank you. You all just put on a show. But I know it's not a show. You know, it was from the heart. So anyway, thank you guys. All right, minutes of the June 18th meeting. Any corrections, revisions? There being none, I will accept a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Motion. Second. All in favor of approval of minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are passed. Terry,
Wow, that went fast.
that did go fast.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to start today by, I know I sent an email to everyone, but to acknowledge that congratulations to Lee. She is the new director of the Brentwood Public Library, and her last day with NPL is August 7th, so I appreciate that she did give me a month's notice, and thank her for all of her work the last 5 years here at Nashville Public Library.
Well, thank you so much. I've loved the Nashville Public Library my whole life, and it's been wonderful to work here for almost 5 years. I want to thank each of you, the library board, and Terry for your good leadership, and all of the staff and volunteers for their positive contributions. It truly takes a village, and it's been such an honor. I will always love the Nashville Public Library, and I do plan to continue to reside in Nashville, so I will still be coming to the Nashville Public Library. So thank you so much. I know you volunteer your time, and it's greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Lee. So the next thing is I'm just going to piggyback on Joyce's remarks about the Donaldson ribbon cutting. I mean, it was such an incredible event, and I want to just thank everybody who not only attended the opening, but I want to really acknowledge, Ryan Darrow and Andrea Fanta. and all the volunteers who made that day possible. The people that were, showing people where to park and how to get up to the library. We had, Pat Bashir there to translate if we needed in Spanish. So just, know that there were so many things. It takes a village, really. But I've appreciated Ryan's leadership ever since he stepped into managing the old Donaldson Library, and that helped create the incredible day. That day, the relationships with former council member Syracuse and now council member Greg reported, for people that weren't there, that the Friends group at the new Donaldson, they have actually helped to raise more than $40,000 for the library. So that is, Ryan was capturing the momentum of having a new branch, and it's kind of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do that. So, again, kudos for that. And one of the things that was interesting is, we know opening day can't have that many people, but that was a lot of people. And then when you were inside the library to see that many people. But Susan said she took her boys there a week ago Saturday, and they even remarked about how busy the library was, on a Saturday. So to continue to have those programs and, just everything that the staff is putting into making that a center of the community is incredible. So, and for those of you too that weren't there, Mayor O'Connell actually, Andrea had talked to him about going behind the desk and actually checking out customers. And so I think people were really impressed that he would do that. So thankful he's a library supporter.
Good job if you don't want that one.
But Andrea and Ryan, they're on the agenda. They're on the agenda, so they'll talk more about opening day as we get into staff reports. Hey,
Can I
yes.
add something? You asked Joyce, and it hadn't occurred to me that Amber Lilly, the artist,
Yeah.
we'd all seen that drawing of her work. It was so much better in person than anything you could imagine. And she did sort of the supreme job of incorporating Nashville and Tennessee artisans. And so the people who were there upstairs listening to that presentation, it crossed into so many different pieces of this community.
It did.
And it's like a model of what, as we do get money to do whatever we do around the city, it was remarkable.
We stayed for that. I mean, we were
Yeah.
all up there. It was just great, all pieces of it.
Yeah, it's such a nice collaboration with Metro Arts, because to have the indoor and outdoor art, and both artists actually did focus groups, excuse me, so that the community really appreciates, their the flora and the fauna and the water. And so that's what she was trying to incorporate. But then to stand there and watch the kids who were, it's almost like, where's Waldo book? Like, where's did you find the bee? Did you find the, whatever. I mean, we were up there with Jennifer Fournier's daughter, and she's like, did you know that there's a bee in there? Katie, can you find that?
And no, I could not.
Really, really neat. And so that kind of leads into on Thursday evening from 5:30 to 8, we are continuing the art lending library. So if you remember, during the pandemic, Metro Arts reached out while I was in branch services and said, could we do art lending? And in my mind and experience, those hadn't really worked. But the thing that was different was that these were Nashville artists. They weren't like copies of famous artists, so that I think, again, it's been so popular, over 500 of those works of arts, and there's only 60, 30 at Madison and 30 at Southeast, have continually been checked out. And so they looked at that and said, well, could we expand it to 5 additional libraries? And so after it is here at Maine for a month, it will go to Donaldson, East, Green Hills, Hermitage, and Old Hickory. And this time it's, I believe, 60 pieces that were purchased. And so so we'll have a actual kickoff event on Thursday. The actual program starts at 6:15. So if you can join us, again, this is a project that's funded with the Metro Nashville percent for public art. And so we get to enjoy it, the customers get to enjoy it. And at the nice thing at Madison and Southeast is the art is usually all checked out, but there's a rendering behind it, so you just don't have the blank walls. So I'm looking forward to, it's up now in our mezzanine, doing that kickoff on Thursday
Can you remind us how long you get to check it out?
for 3 months. And
I knew it was a long
yeah, it is a long, and kudos to like Lee and Noelle and her team, because they actually had to set up the process, because we knew that because of, the fragileness of art, we didn't want it on a truck going back and forth.
Right.
So we put one at Madison and one at Southeast, opposite ends of the county, and also where maybe customers didn't really have an opportunity to buy their own art. And so now it'll be even, more art to check out.
Do they come back in good shape after they've been out for 3 months?
So far, Noel purchased very specific cases to help protect them. And I think we've only had one that never came back, and that was pretty much early on in the process. So somebody must have really wanted that piece of art.
And these are all paintings or these are not objects of art. These are.
There is one that is more, when I think about, most of them are paintings, but there are a couple of 3D, because we had to get some special, at Southeast, a different kind of display for those. So it's almost like macrame or something like that is the 3D. But it's mostly art, painted art.
So people just, I don't know, we just turned your report into a process of what happens with the art. But, okay, I'm obey. Go. I don't mean to keep interrupting you.
That's okay.
But when you have now this blank space on your wall where there was a piece of art, are people just, is it a revolving door for the art? They just go get another piece, or what are they doing?
So what they can do is they can either get they can put things on hold, for one thing, or they can look at the wall that has the pieces that are available for checkout. And the nice thing is, because there's a rendering of the art behind the original, then they can say, oh, I really want number, 30, and then they can put it on hold.
Okay, and just get another piece.
Correct me if I'm wrong. So I know Dennis here. So the other thing I just wanted to mention, because I will have more information for you, but during the budget process, we were told that there was the potential that there would be a budget true-up after the budget was passed. And we knew that would probably be up to 1.4%, which for our budget, depending on what they're looking at, it can be 600 to 800,000. So Susan received an email on Friday to let us know that our true-up amount is $631,400. So we talked about this at the admin team meeting yesterday, and I asked them, I'm meeting with Susan and Sherry tomorrow afternoon so that we can really look at, and Susan will reiterate this, but most of our budget is in staffing. So we're going to need to look at vacant positions. So we were wanting to make sure that we didn't have a lot of vacant positions, and now that we don't, now we have to look at where can we find the 631,000. So we'll go from there, but when I know more, we haven't made any final decisions at this time, because we just found out on Friday.
Is this a new thing? I've never heard of this before.
Yeah, Susan. I think the word true up may be new, but
Well, it's happened before. When Metro has flat years, depending on revenue collections, whatever goes into deciding Metro's budget, we've had to have savings before. The last time that it happened, I believe, was right after the pandemic. And it was a permanent cut. We ended up having to give up 11 positions. And I believe that was to help out when the state reformulated how schools were funded, they had to find, Metro had to find extra money. This is really loud, sorry. This time, it's not supposed to be a permanent cut, it's just a savings, but they have taken it from our budget so that we are forced to save it.
So we'll be back with more. Go ahead, Keith, sorry.
What's the difference between a permanent cut? I mean, our FY is 20, our budget that starts July 1 will be $630,000 less than we thought it was going to be. Is that correct?
Our budget starting July 1st, 2024 is $631,000 less than we thought, yes.
That's pretty permanent.
Well, we're supposed to get it back next year. It's not a permanent cut. We don't have to cut those positions. We have to find the savings. Again, before when this happened, it was a permanent cut, and we had to cut positions. So this time, they've taken the money, but we don't have to cut the positions. We just have to find the savings. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yes. You've got to find savings without cutting somebody else.
You know,
You should probably not-
70% of our budget is salary and benefits, and that's really the only place to find that savings. So it'll have to be done with vacant
It's
positions.
not hiring.
The
Correct.
vacancies.
We'll just have to hold them.
Or cut back on hours for people who are, you know?
That's really hard to do and maintain the service hours that we have. It's probably going to be looking at vacant positions and holding them open longer is what that means.
So, and I think Susan reminded me yesterday, you know, like, we have a $48 million budget.
46.
46, sorry.
46.
I don't know, I thought I heard 48. I guess it was wishful thinking. But anyways, when you think about that in the scheme of things, at a department head meeting, you know, I was sitting next to someone who is like, you know, please think about when you're advocating for things, because I'm sitting here with a $300,000 budget, you know, so, I mean, 430 sounds, and it is a lot, but I think in the scheme of things, we did get the half a year Donaldson, you know, funding as well. So we were happy to, because it would be one thing to not get those and then have to come up with that plus the true up. So,
Yeah, it's definitely been worse.
yes, because when we did the 11 positions, that was in branch services the last time we did it. So, okay, so the last thing I just wanted to mention
One more
is
thing, $46 million budget,
just operating.
just counting Metro money. Does that include?
No, that's our operational money, only Metro money,
Only Metro.
and only for operations. That's not capital, that's not 4%, that's not foundation, only operational.
That's really pretty, I mean, given where we were not that long ago, that's actually,
It's the first time in our history to have a $46 million budget.
good.
It is good. And
We used to be floundering around.
You need to
with
write a
2 in
history
front of that,
lesson.
not a 4.
it was also interesting that during the operating budget process, Councilmember Vo reached out and she said, look, she said, we're getting ready to do our amendments and things to the budget. And she said, I saw that you had $35,000 for translation services included in your budget. And then we also received $35,000 last year. The nice thing was that she said, look, this is really important to the minority caucus. So can you tell me if you don't get this, if you don't get the money you're asking for, can you still do the translation services? So what I said to her was that will depend on how much we have to give back for the 600. I said, we will work very hard to try to continue with the plans that we had for the translation services. I just don't want to make a permanent promise and then I find out we have to give back $800,000. But she said that they were so impressed with what we're doing for our customers who English isn't their first language, that they wanted to support that. And so they did find the $35,000 and give it to us in our budget.
Good.
So, yeah, so we have to put together as a leadership team, I'll have Susan talk about this at another meeting, but we're getting a real-time translation for 6 languages, which we have the PO and we will be starting, but we'll come back with what our plans are for that 35,000, because Lee and her team did the website translations, this year, and Jenny Ellis and Jenny Lane are going to talk more about that and their staff reports. So that's it for me.
So we get 630 taken away, but we get 35 given back? Okay, so it's not really 630, it's something a little bit less than 6.
Yeah.
So how's the city views that, then, if that becomes part of your operational budget? So,
Then we will
Just
keep
add
the
the 660 to
35,000 in
35.
the budget, like
So
they did
both.
last year. They didn't take away the 35 that we got last year.
okay.
I can't believe you could do that for $35,000. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
That was kind of interesting to me too, that you can do it for $35,000.
The online, the real time, well, that's because we had to pick 6 languages, so we narrowed it to the 6 languages that are spoken most often throughout Metro. But also, we have to see, like, per the minute, or how much it's even, we have to figure out a plan to promote it, so our customers will even know that they can come in and we talked about this at admin team yesterday, so that they even know that service is available, and then that way, that'll give us an indication of what does that cost, as we're using it.
It was a best guesstimate. We have no idea how much it's going to be used, how much it'll cost. I mean, if it ends up costing more, we'll
So do we,
make it work.
is there a service provider that we subscribe to, or?
There is a contract in place. We have set up the PO. It's a matter of getting out the instructions to the staff now.
And how does it work? I mean,
Let's see, Susan's been the one leading.
So the
this charge.
company is out of Arizona, I believe. What you do is we have a member, they call it a member ID. There's a PIN. You call the number they give you, you give them our member ID, you give them the PIN, ask which language needs to be addressed, and then they find an interpreter to get on the phone and talk to.
And is it an interpreter, and is it not done digitally? It's done
It's
in
a person.
Person.
Yeah.
so
My understanding, it's a person.
Right, which was different than the Say Hi app that all the libraries have that, relies on artificial intelligence.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And so if somebody walks into Donaldson branch that speaks, you had a Uber driver from Uzbekistan, whatever he speaks, you can dial it up and you can find an interpreter for that language.
We've got to put some procedures in place so that staff can identify which language is needed.
Yeah.
And then train up the staff to do it. But yes, you say there's a sheet of paper that says, I speak whatever, then the staff person will know. They can put the phone in. I need an interpreter who speaks
Anything.
whatever, yeah. And then
That's
they
amazing.
find the interpreter and put them on the phone.
Yeah,
That's
and he
fabulous.
identified the 6.
But I
most
thought we were
spoken.
only doing it for 6
6.
languages.
We are.
I mean, they could do it for anything.
They could do it for more.
Right.
Those are the 6 languages that we identified that are most often spoken.
Mm-hmm.
But if we need more, there's, I think they speak up to 100 different languages on this
Mm,
interpretation.
Good.
So you start at 6, but you could expand it to. And our languages are Spanish, Arabic,
Kurdish.
Kurdish.
Say it again?
What is it? Vietnamese? Really?
Are the 6 most spoken languages in Davidson County. Not that there's not more spoken.
Yeah.
I think Hillsborough High School has 121 different languages spoken. Yeah.
So if we need to add some, we can. Those were just the 6 most prevalent spoken, not that
You
there's
said
not more.
Vietnamese, Spanish, Kurdish, Burmese,
Arabic.
Arabic.
That's from the 2017 Metro Language Access Report. So it's available on that.
Thank you.
And part of this hopefully will be also expanding, we opened New Donaldson with English, Spanish, Arabic, and then Braille on all the signs,
Braille.
including
Forgot about
Bryant
Braille.
Bellevue has that as well. So hopefully Maine, we looked into what that would cost for here, and maybe being able to, depending on how much the service is going to cost, seeing what else we can do. So,
That throws me to Begin Bright. So we have to do books in those languages. Ugh,
We're starting with Spanish.
oh, starting with Spanish, great. Okay.
okay.
Is that it?
Yes,
That's
that's
a
it
lot.
for me.
That's a lot, okay. Katie, you doing the retail space?
Sean couldn't be here today, and so she wanted us to know the good news that there is a letter of intent with Oscar's Tacos to.
From who?
Oscar's
Oscar's
Tacos.
Tacos.
To use the old Jim Cooper Congressman space. And they have 3 other locations. They were downtown, and their landlord asked them to move. But I'm sure Susan knows everything about this, because they've given their letter of intent to the engineers. I mean, it's very much in process. Sean expects the lease to be signed in the next month. And it has been, she said, what else do you want to know? I said, how long has this been? It's been vacant a year and a half, so.
So what I do know is it's going to take a while because there's going to have to be some build out. That space is not equipped for a restaurant since the congressman was in there. So there will have to be some build out. There'll have to be some ventilation done, some plumbing done to make it a workable restaurant area.
But that's their nickel.
Yes.
That was the question I asked.
It's not Metro's nickel. I don't know whose nickel, but it's not Metro's.
Foundation or Metro's nickel. We made it a white space, and now it's theirs.
I believe they are supposed to be doing it, yes.
So the restaurant that's on the other side, I can't think of the name of it.
Copper Branch.
Proper Branch, that will still stay? Okay, good.
Yeah.
So it'd be a good choice, okay.
But if you'll remember, that space was originally another restaurant, so it was,
Yeah.
when it was built out years and years ago, it was an easier conversion because it was already a restaurant. This is not a restaurant space, so they
Yeah.
have to make it
Different space,
restaurant.
yeah.
Well, they actually have a kitchen, or just warming ovens,
Copper Branch or the new
the
restaurant?
new restaurant.
Oh, it'll have to be a full functioning kitchen.
Really?
So there's going to be some extensive work have to be done.
It's a big build-out.
Yep.
Somebody in the restaurant, well, because of this building, it's very complicated. And somebody in the restaurant business in town said you should get somebody actually that has other branches that they could just use warming ovens, cook it over there, and just bring it here. But I'm sure these people will work it out.
That was a big deal. We were trying to release it the first time,
Yeah.
but we didn't.
Now,
All
my
kinds of issues about venting and
Yeah.
all that. That's,
My understanding is, though, it's not the entire space, it's just a portion of the space.
Oh, okay.
So there's still potential for
More.
more, but, yeah, they're not doing the whole,
It's a big.
it's a big space, so they're only doing a portion of it.
Okay.
And if anybody ever visited Oscar's across the street, it was tiny.
And
So this will
always
actually be
proud.
bigger than what they had across the street.
Okay.
can I speak a minute about the foundation?
Yeah.
So I was in New York this past weekend and went to the Pierpont Morgan Library.
Oh, wow.
And because of Personal Librarian, the book, it was just fascinating to be there. And I would just encourage any of you all who read that book and
Yeah.
came and heard the program that night, if you're in New York, go to that library. It is just fascinating to see what they did. And then, there's also great Renaissance and even like 15th century art that's really interesting also. But I don't know, it's worth a stop.
I'm going in this
Wow,
morning.
thanks for
And
telling us.
I would not have had any appreciation for it had I not read the book and just sort of knew what the background.
Did you get the VIP? They promised members, the people who
No,
could
I
come
just-
to that to get the VIP tour.
Yeah,
No,
she said
it would've been
she
nice.
Said she would take you, yeah.
No, I didn't do
I'm
that.
with jealous, because that was.
Anyway, do it.
I called her, and she said, sure, come. So we looked around. I don't know that we saw things that you didn't see, honestly.
Well, you do get to see his office, which is enormous and very opulent. And then her office, which is also big, and opulent, and beautiful. And it's cool,
Yeah.
Are there any photos?
yeah.
We have to see your photos.
Your photos of me?
Your photos.
No, I'm talking about photos of Belle DeCosta Green and
No,
Big Horn.
we saw that at the presentation. We talking about your photos.
No, I don't sit for photos anymore. The days are over.
All right, humility, okay. Thank you, though, for letting us know that. And for those of you who came, they did promise us,
Yeah, they did.
you can call and say, I'm a member of the Carnegie Society, and you get that tour. Uh-huh. Were you about to say something? Oh, okay, all right. Susan, closures.
Me again?
You again. You have to do a history of the library through budgets and construction. That's your book.
I could probably do it. But- So as y'all may be aware, we've got some major HVAC issues going on in this
Yes.
building, and we finally have the capital money to fix them. So it's all coming to fruition. August 19th, and I checked with the project manager yesterday, we still seem to be on schedule. We are going to close the library to the public on August 19th. The entire building will be down except for the rental space. That's on a whole different system. For 1 week while they do put the heat exchanger in. Then the east side will stay down while they take replace the coils. And that's going to take about 2 weeks. It'll come back up. The west side will go down. It'll be down about 3 weeks. The problem is we still can't be open to the public because one side is going to be hot, one side may be cool, but it's going to be very hot in the building overall. We're hoping to be back up and running by October 4th.
Oh, good.
Or that's the last day of closure. It'll be opening up after that. It'll be closed through
So
October.
August the 19th through October the 4th.
Correct.
6 weeks or so.
And that is if everything goes as planned and there are no hiccups.
So
That-
tell us
that's the perfect
plan for
timeline.
Staff going where they're going.
We have worked out plans where staff is going to go. Fortunately, the B1 level, the B2 level, the conference center, and the public part of the special collections will come back up after that first week because they're on different systems.
Okay.
So some of the staff will be working on site. We won't be open to the public, but they'll still be working. It's those public staff that are really going to have the hard time.
Okay.
And we're finding places for them to go and things to do, so.
So part of the plan is to, Jenna and Kyle are working together so that staff can go assist out in the branches. And also somebody had said, well, why didn't you just wait, to do this when it's cooler in November, December? But Katie can tell you yesterday, we.
I was the somebody.
No, but you were in this room, and the thing is, these coils can, they're operating, and Susan can say, but like 60%. So even when we had Michael McDonald, that in the auditorium, we did the best that we could do to get the temperature to where it needed to be, but it was not comfortable, and that was not even at the height of these temperatures we're having right now. And then yesterday, this room, when we came in, it was stifling, and so we're fortunate that maintenance staff could come up, thank you, Kelvin, and actually was on a 9-foot ladder to get the air and the fans in case we needed them. But there's just the problem of the longer that we wait, the less effective the coils are becoming. And so I don't want to get us in a position where they totally go out and then we're scrambling to put things in place. And the part just is shipped. So that's why the August 19th date. So.
Because we have bookings, I think, for events.
Oh, fall.
Yeah.
We have bookings.
So is there anything you can do to help the
I'm
people
two
who are on the third floor trying to get jobs? I mean, this is such an important part of some patrons' lives. And is there anything we can do to,
We talked about that.
And so we've looked.
We talked about that at the last meeting.
What they can do is, there's the bus transportation to almost all of our other branches. And so going, to another location for the services. Hopefully, Vant and I have talked about making sure we're talking to the office of, we have an entire office in Metro for the homelessness. And so just making sure that, we've had the time, we're meeting weekly as a team to, he just made it. Thought he was at the state today. So-
Got out a little bit early.
Oh, nice.
Thank you for coming.
Sorry for being late.
So-
Okay, so go ahead, you were saying.
Oh, no, so I think that's why we have a huge spreadsheet, where's staff going, what are we doing? So, and we're meeting weekly to update that so that, we have the plans in place for when we actually do close.
Where are you going, administrative team?
Well, because of the B1 only being down and 2 for 1 week, we'll be here.
So you'll be down there.
Well, I haven't decided, I think third floor, Kyle Barber's old office. But yes, but we'll be here.
Rest assured, I will be here. I'll have fans in my office, but I will be here.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be here.
Wow.
pushing these contractors.
Yeah, got to oversee the contractors. Anything else, any other questions on closing? So
What's the
August
status
9th through
of-
October
out here,
4th.
Susan?
Yeah, what's the update on the trees? Good question.
We are in semi-design right now. They're working out how to get things done right now. Not much further. The trees will be coming out while we're closed. But other than that, as far as putting everything back together, that's not in place yet. We're still working on it.
Are the trees being transplanted anywhere?
They can't be.
Oh.
So if everything were planned out perfectly and you did it at the right time of year and you had the ball, and this,
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
it still only has a 25% chance of survival. So it's not going to happen.
Hmm.
The Japanese maple is staying, though.
Okay.
Yay.
I'm looking at the dead leaves now. It's so hot
Yeah.
that they're dying.
Is there a plan towards which we're working? I know we've seen some ideas, but is that finalized? No.
Say, could
No.
we repeat your question, Kate?
So, remember, we've seen some ideas for what could go out there to replace the trees.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know if there was been.
It's not finalized yet.
Yeah.
No, but we'll be working with the board and we'll be working with the Robinson family, getting ideas and making sure that everybody's on the same page
Yeah.
before it goes forward, yeah.
Okay.
So-
Any other questions on the closure? Talk about the trees now.
And also on Susan's, plate is, besides all those things, we have the capital spending plan.
Right.
So we are going to look at doing the design development for Hadley Park first, the renovation at Green Hills in the first part, and then the second part, we'll do design development for Richland Park, and then the Hermitage renovation.
Moving
So,
forward.
Terry knows this, and Joyce knows this, the stuff that goes on in these branches is just so incredible. And I went to the Green Hills branch to vote, and some person in Nashville owns Wheaties cereal boxes back to 1912, with all of the athletes.
That was so cool.
And so there are 30 of these boxes that are there to see. It's just so cool. And I was like, Terry, what? And they've just done this. I don't know how that all evolved. But
Well, their display, their displays are always
Yeah.
interesting,
They-
always
they
great.
are.
But anyway, I thought, I'm thinking, who's got these things in a basement somewhere?
Who thinks of that?
And people come to Heidi, Heidi Berg, our branch manager, there's a waiting list for putting things in not only the cabinets, the display cabinets, but also the walls leading to the meeting room.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, website translation. Jenny, is this good? Jenny Ellis and Jenny Lane?
Yes.
The Jenny Show.
And while they're going up there, if I can say a word appreciation for their work. They work on B1 behind the scenes, doing so much for system support. I'm really glad they have a chance to come up here and show off a project because of the initiative that is shown by the shared systems team is just phenomenal. And they've both been working for the library for a really long time, and I hope they'll tell you how long they've been working.
Yes, we want to know.
19 years in September for me, and Ellis is like
21 years.
21.
Oh, wow. Thank
And we are probably median. There's so many long timers at NPL, so. All right. So our team, the shared systems team, we provide library automation and discovery for the public library and the schools. And we also provide websites to support the library and the Limitless website to support the schools. So that's the basic, and some other software, but that's basically what we do. And so we have been aware, especially working with the schools, of the growing foreign-born population in Nashville, and we have been wanting to make the website more useful, more welcoming to that population. But it's a very expensive prospect, right? But because of innovations, technological innovations in the last year or so, machine translation has gotten so good that we felt like we could employ it to meet the entire 6 languages that we're also going to have the telephone system for. This is our site right now. You can see the language picker is there in the right corner, which is where, that's the common placement where users are going to expect it to be. And you can see the 6 languages that we support. Now, much like the interpretation system, the module that we're using here supports 100+ languages, so we could add more languages. But we also don't want to confuse the situation by having 100 languages in a drop-down here. So we are using the basics, the same 6. The other thing to note is that, as we all know, the library world has its own terminology, right? And there are words in libraries that mean things specific to libraries, like holds, right?
Yeah.
And so we have a paid-for module that, should we find an awkward translation, we can fix them in a permanent way. So let's look at the page translated into Spanish. Yeah, it's really fast.
Yeah, zooming in so y'all can see it
Yeah.
better.
And you can see that the alerts translate, the navigation translates, all the promos translate. You scroll down, you see that the widget from the catalog translates. Blog posts are translated. Pretty much everything is translated. The footer is translated. It's just a split second. All right. So we go back to the mega menu at the top. Let's look at another page. Let's look at the Niños page. And this is just to show a little bit of how the complete translation of just every little thing on the page, which when we initially started this project thinking we were going to do human translations for everything, and that got unwieldy very, very quickly because there's so much stuff. There's so much new content being added all the time on the website. The structure looks the same, but the content changes a lot. And we are not the only department that adds content. Marcom adds content. Other departments add content, and all that would have to be translated too. And there's just a timeliness factor, right? We want alerts that are very timely to be translated, right? We can't wait 2 weeks for a service to translate them. So this is we've actually pulled these translations and some of the human translations and compared them, and it's just, these are so good. We used to be worried about that. Machine translation versus human translation, we're not worried anymore. All right, so,
So is this software that, I mean, you each subscribe to the software?
Yes.
We own the software or what?
it's called G-Translate, and we get it through our web vendor, who's NetTango. So we use the same web vendor that Nashville.gov uses, and they have a 10-year contract with this web vendor to provide services. So we're good for 10 years. By then, there'll be some wildly new translation, I'm sure, but we're set. So this is a
So
model.
Metro, it doesn't come out of our budget? Is that what you're saying?
It comes out of our web development budget, and, it's a line item.
But the software itself is just a couple $100s a year.
Right, the software
Really
itself is not
inexpensive.
it's much cheaper than there's no comparison. When you take in the human translation, just our time compiling and organizing the translation, finance department's time, doing RFQs, processing the vendor submissions, then we award contracts, all that takes time, and then the vendor does the work, it comes back to us, and then we have to copy and paste it all in and keep track of it. Not to mention that other departments like Marcom are going to be impacted because they do the promos on the front page, and all of those need to be translated. You don't want to have a site where a chunk is just not translated and everything else is, and then you try to explain why, and it just doesn't work out very well. So this is, not only are the translations great, but it's a lot more cost-effective, labor, less intensive, way more timely. So that's it. What were we going to look at next? Ellis?
Get a card?
Yes, the Get Card page. That's another nice feature. So you go to our Get a Library Card page. We have these embedded forms. If you click on it, you agree to the little pop-up. You'll see right at the top there, let's look at that. That says, please use the Latin alphabet. Now, that's not really necessary on the Spanish page, but it's on all the pages. But in the Arabic page, we don't want our library registrations coming through in Arabic script, right? That's going to be a problem for our frontline staff trying to help people. So it says use the Latin alphabet, but the form is translated, so they know what they're supposed to put in here. Mm-hmm. And most of the things on a library application form aren't really translatable anyway. Street names, phone numbers, email. So after they register and hit submit, they get the landing page. It's also translated. Our next step is actually working on having the success emails be translated, but that's a separate company, and we have to hook all that up. So that's the next piece of this. All right. Now, can we go back to English for a minute, Ellis?
Yes, we can.
All right. And let's go to events and look at the wishing chair page. So this is a page that has it's what we call a subpage. It has its own navigation at the top. And let's look at this in Arabic. You can see.
All right.
So one of the things that you can really notice in Arabic that you don't see in Spanish is the things that aren't translated. So puppet truck, which is a thing, it's a boring name, but it's a name, right? And wishing chair production's proper name. So we have one of the things that this module allows us to have is a file of things we just don't want translated, right? Like bringing books to life. It's a name of a department. And so we can add and subtract. We can, do what we will with that. So we can scroll down a little bit and just see how it looks. Mm-hmm. So there are issues with Arabic, right? So it's a right to left language. Everything justifies on the right side, and there are issues with, this is part of why it's expensive to translate websites, right? Because all of the theming that goes on, all of the images and where things align, it switches if you just flip-flop the page, right? So there's still a little work stylistically that has to go on, but this is totally usable. Any Arabic person or anybody who speaks Arabic that comes to this page is going to be able to find out what our events, when our events are, when the puppet truck is going to, where they're going to be, and what's next. So we will be tweaking this, but it's a usable page. We go live with this on the 24th. Next, is that Tuesday? I think it's a Tuesday.
I forgot what, I mean.
A week
what
from
that's-
today.
A week and a half.
Somewhere around a week
something
from
like
today. And we will give staff a heads up. They've already seen it because we've had staff look at it for us. But we think that this is going to be really helpful for our outreach departments and for frontline staff. The need to keep library applications translated and, fix those and have them printed just is not going to be anything we need anymore. So that should have some savings there.
And right now, it's just the two languages.
No, you can translate it into
So it is
Somali
the
or
six.
Vietnamese.
Oh, Kurdish.
Kurdish looks, Kurdish is
Occasionally.
not the script Kurdish,
Right.
because that is not, the Kurdish that this module has is, there's two different Kurdishes, and one has a Latinate alphabet, and that's the one that they use. But you could do Vietnamese or something and see the difference. Yeah. And like I say, we can add other languages, and it's not hard. And it's not a difficult thing to add more languages should the need arise. So we'll be looking for feedback from users and frontline staff.
Is this ability to read the website in different languages, is it pretty common within the library world? Or are you guys,
I mean, most libraries
Yeah.
use the free Google Translate widget that you just stick on
Yeah.
your website.
Yeah,
The downside to that is that if you find an incorrect translation, yeah,
You can't
sorry,
do anything
no
about
luck.
right?
And we didn't really like that. We like, this gave us the customization that manual translation allowed us to have. Sorry. But saves us tens of thousands of dollars. Like, it's staggeringly shocking how expensive manual translation was. I mean, it was just, it was absolutely insane. I
And
don't
it's
think any
not perfect
taxpayer would
either.
have been, it's not, well, yeah, manual translation is absolutely not perfect either. That's absolutely right.
But I think this gives us an idea of the magnitude of the,
yeah.
yeah.
Do we have collections that are commensurate with our languages? And so if somebody can go to the website, read it in Somali, do we have Somali collections?
You could go to the
Enough of it.
catalog and do a blank search and then limit to language Somali, but
Oh, wow, okay.
you may find that some of it is movies. You might want
I mean, we have like a
Some of it
larger
is what?
collection of Spanish and Arabic, and we've
Sure.
been working on building the Kurdish collection over the past few years. But the catalog was translated first to Spanish and Arabic.
Looks like
And
we have
one-
11 Somali titles.
Yeah, I mean, part of the
it's not-
problem is how many books are published and how,
Yes, that's what I was just thinking.
how accessible are they? Like if, I can promise you that Noelle spends a lot of time trying to source foreign language material, and she is thorough.
Yeah.
So if it's available and we can find it and our customers would want it, we have it.
Right, like, she's even worked with like the Library of Congress to purchase items from Cairo in Egypt, like publishers that publish in Arabic. So it's definitely something that is, Noelle looks into, and we try to build our multilingual collection as big as possible.
Just one more reason why collections have become so expensive.
Just dismissed myself.
Okay, well, that
Great.
is wonderful. I think it's eye-opening for us. I know it is for me. It's goodness. Things we just don't think about. But we just, go ahead, Nadine.
No, I was gonna say, as a Spanish native speaking person growing up and seeing how quick and intuitive that website was, and how very much like accurate the Spanish was, that's rare to find. I think people automatically think when you translate that it shows up the very same way, and contextually it doesn't, because it's Spanish is backwards. And so to see it and it makes sense in Spanish is stellar. So thank you for your work.
I'm even thinking about like opportunities, because I don't know that people who are in the Spanish community know all of that. And I'm thinking how we get the word out, like, because I'm on the board of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I don't know that the businesses know all of what can be done. So we'll figure.
And that's why we were talking about, now that we have the service, like how we do need to have a plan for getting out the word out so that we can have it,
do
but it's
that.
not going to be great if people don't use it. I just want to say, as a person sitting on the leadership team, Jenny, I had no idea how many, at first it was just Spanish and Arabic, and then now it's 6 languages. I'm like sitting here, like, I don't even know what to say. It's
Big
so impressive.
undertaking.
So thank you so much. I know when you start out doing something, and like you said, doing it one way, but switching now to something that's less expensive, but obviously accurate. Thanks for your.
You're not one to stay on the same page or the same road, that we know is wrong, just because we have sunk costs. So I see the next step actually is probably putting a widget like this on the Limitless page with a lot more than 6 languages. If we're talking about MMPS supporting students who speak 140 languages at home, we might as well use every language. They could, we can support the Limitless program in our partnership with the schools by making Limitless easier to access for non-English speakers. So that's next.
And
Yes.
will usage be tracked?
Yes. We'll figure out a way to do it.
Yeah.
I think it does in the, yeah,
Sorry, and the G-Translate, if they have their own statistics, you can kind of see which one.
people have gone to. So we
Well,
have.
thanks for dreaming
That's the module
big.
that we're using on this site, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Thanks for dreaming big.
How did you all
Y'all was
gravitate into this? Because 20 years ago, you weren't doing this, I don't think.
How did we
I mean, how did you all come to this? Because when you started National Public Library,
Now, I was a librarian 1 at Bellevue when I started.
Guess it's the luck of being able to work.
Yeah, and,
I worked under the person who happened to be doing the website.
yes, and my
You just
dad,
learned as
I
you
mean,
go.
we had computers when I was 12, because my dad is an electronics nerd, and just fall into things,
Lucky us.
yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
I don't know.
Exposure is what it boils down to, exposure.
So,
Well,
I'm-
thank you.
I have a follow-up question really quick. I know that in the last month, I don't know if it was last month or 2 months ago, we rolled out a new passport
Right.
plan. And I'm just wondering, I know that there's going to be a communication plan as to how we get that out. Is there a way in which we might also offer languages as a part of that? Because I'm thinking about, universities and even people that are trying to get their first passports, or, folks that just made age to be able to do that. I think it's very relevant to be able to do that, specifically if they're from other countries.
So I think that for right now, the passport is a pilot program, because we knew with staff capacity, we are actually booked for every slot available through August. And the only reason I know this is my husband somehow lost his passport in our house, even though we have a safe. So all that to know that, right? Instead of him
It's
having to go
personal.
to Kentucky, he gets to go to Southeast with an appointment because we know people. But if you don't, no, seriously, I mean, if you
No.
don't, you're going to Kentucky. Sean just
Yeah,
went to
we
Kentucky.
heard that at the last meeting.
Jenna, I mean, so there is this demand, but then we also have to look at, we didn't get the positions for branches that we asked for. So how do we have that capacity? Like, we have to focus in on what are those service, that's why I'm hoping this continuous improvement plan, when we talk about what are the 2 to 3 priorities for customer service, if it means that passports steps above doing notary service or something, then we have to look at prioritizing those services and what can we do with the staff that we have, so.
And it all ties into Terry's, Bo's request for translation services.
Well, I have to say, I have to give that back to the staff, because when we were doing budget, not last year, but the year before, I asked the assistant directors to bring to the table what were the things that they saw was a need in their departments. And so, having Lee bring that forward, and having someone from the mayor, when we did the mayor's office presentation, they're like, 35,000 isn't going to be enough. And so to think that, that's why I'm sitting here in awe, because of what was able to be done, not just in.
Terry needs to know this, too.
Yeah,
I think
seriously,
this
that was
would be-
incredible, so.
Because I didn't understand the magnitude of it, and I do now. So
Yeah.
thank you, yeah.
That's why I'm asking about tracking.
Yeah.
No,
Terry needs to
totally.
see this, what we've done, how far we've come, and how much it takes. Oh, goodness.
Thank you for the
Because she's a tech kind of person. She likes it, yeah. Okay, Donaldson Branch update.
So I
Ryan and
asked for both, of course, all of you, know Andrea Fanta, and then Ryan Darrow is our branch manager at
Do we
Donaldson.
buy a T-shirt, or what do we do?
Yeah, Ryan, can you still buy T-shirts? I know you've had various versions of T-shirts.
This one was never for sale, it's like special, but.
Yeah, we saw it all day long.
To the board.
Yeah.
So as soon as they come back in, I have to reorder it. I'm ready. Are you ready? Okay, so, first of all, thank you. Okay, am I good? Thank you guys so much for having us. Thank you for inviting us to talk about the success that was the opening day of the new Donaldson Branch Library. That was the culmination of 8 long years of planning and construction, of which I had the privilege of just helping in the last couple years. But these last couple years were very busy. So, of course, you're looking at a rendering of the Donaldson Branch. This is not a picture. It's very beautiful, but you see the exterior art there. This is a LEED Gold targeted branch. I think they have not completed the certification yet. Included in LEED Gold, of course, is that we have a geothermal well in the front of the building there. There are solar panels on the roof. Even simply the way that the building is oriented prevents some of the heat intrusion from the outside, and more and more and more. If you haven't been yet, please do. Visit. And also let me know if you're coming. I'll show you around.
Okay, so the work for opening day started well before opening day. We started working on the comms plan about 6 months prior. One of our primary goals, and I think something we did well, was to create an emotional connection for the community and also for Donaldson customers. The challenge is to keep people excited and to sustain anticipation when so much is happening behind the scenes, when the hole is being dug and the concrete is being poured. So one thing I liked about our campaign is that we found creative ways to be transparent and to create that sense of emotional connection well before opening day.
And so part of that, and leading up to opening day, and before we had much to talk about with the new building, because as Andrea said, sometimes it was just a hole in the ground, was to really lean into the nostalgia of the old building. That old building in Donaldson opened in 1966, was well-loved in the Donaldson community. I think it was the first library opened as part of the consolidated Metro government. And so they were very proud of that. And in fact, Metro talked a lot about how that was indicative of what a consolidated government can do for the suburbs. So there was just a lot of history, and we had this great catalog of old pictures and these old layouts, or I guess that was like blueprint. They probably just built the building off of that back then. And then we did a whole blog post detailing all of the previous branch managers and the staff. And that, by the way, is Kay Culbertson, who later became the state librarian for the state of Tennessee. She was a very accomplished librarian.
Okay, so something else we did well, and this is a best practice, is to create a 360 ecosystem, marketing ecosystem. So you had citywide comms coming out of me and my team, and then the hyperlocal comms coming out from Ryan Darrow and his team. So this was the beginning of the campaign. It's the road to New Donaldson. Ed Brown on my team came up with the concept, and we'll walk you through some of the campaign here in just a bit. But as usual, my team killed it. They did a great job, and so I'm very proud of the work we did.
And I want to say, too, on that roadmap, that was not only printed up as collateral, but that was also the sort of website that people were pointed to get more information about New Donaldson as we had information to share with them. But in addition to that, we also had this great line drawing that the foundation did, and they've done that for a few different branches now. So we were able to utilize that in other ways also to keep the imagery fresh and to keep sort of the overall branding together. And then, of course, that New Donaldson branch logo, I'm wearing it. Eddie Patton, part of Andrea's team, designed that, and he actually hand drew 9 different logo options for us, and my team was able to pick their favorite of those. And so that just goes to show the partnership between Marcom and Donaldson as we led up to this to make my team feel involved, but also, I'm going to end there.
Okay, so we got to opening day, and I think we did a great job. Actually, I think we killed it again.
You did.
So people were willing to spend a lot of time in the June heat to listen to a story about the best things that can happen when people work together. Mayor O'Connell was there. Of course, you see the relationship here with Council Member Gregg. If you all remember Erica, she stole the show.
You did.
And another thing we did really well is to involve so-called real people, right? So customers and patrons who are kind of outside the metro circle. Terry and Joyce looking good. Department heads looking great. And ribbon cutting. And then everyone was ready to come in the doors. Mayor O'Connell, we actually, as Terry was talking, got him to go behind the service desks and check out books for some folks. And then this is the 5th branch that has a registration renewal kiosk. And of course, we've talked already about the public art. So I liked opening day. Hopefully you guys too did as well. I thought we did a really great job.
I also, I'll talk about that in a second. I also just have to say one thing about this ribbon cutting, which we'll talk about the blueprint and how we do this again in the future. But what was really exciting to work with Andrea and a lot of other people too was figuring out different hooks into the day, like figuring out, we should have Mayor O'Connell check out some books. I mean, he loves to get involved. Or we have this vehicle registration renewal kiosk. How can we involve Brenda Wynn? So all those things are just going to lead to further successes in the future as we continue to open branches. So, opening day, door count, 2,276 people. And believe it or not, that is only from the front door because we had to bring the door counter from Old Donaldson over. We don't have one on the elevator quite yet. So actually more than that. But if you compare that to what April 2024 was, at Old Donaldson, our total door count for the entire month was 6,300 people. And so we did about 36% of our normal door count in one single day. Again, circulation, 2,126 checkouts, and that was 26% of our previous circulation in a single day. Library card sign up 62, and so those are 62 unique patrons that perhaps haven't been to a library in many years, coming in to see this exciting new place as part of their community. And so that again is 44% of our previous circulation. Yeah, it's still busy at the branch. We're doing great. In fact, Susan, come on up. No, Susan was just there, and we got glowing reviews from her children.
Okay, so here, sorry, Ryan. Here are the marketing metrics. You all know that we love earned media here at National Public Library because it's free. I forgot to list the scene. We're really, again, we're satisfied. I'm pleased with our analytics. To give you some context, for socials, this performed slightly better than our campaign for the Dolly Parton Imagination Library card. And then email also, generally speaking, outperformed our usual email.
So, great for Donaldson, but obviously the whole city too. So excited about a new library. And of course, it was mentioned earlier by Terry, but we did a lot of fundraising surrounding the opening. I was really lucky to have Jeff Gregg, who is the current council member, sort of spearhead that in a way. He found a group of really dedicated Donaldson folks that reached out to their contacts, to their business contacts, to find direct giving donations. We did merchandise sales. One of those is the little t-shirt down at the bottom that you can see, or a sweatshirt. And for the first time ever, as far as I know, we actually had 2 after-hours events at the branch before we opened. So we did those as ticketed events so that people could donate some money and come in and see first the architecture and design tour. And that was shortly after construction was completed, and there was no furniture in the building. So that was the only time those patrons were going to be able to see that building in that exact way, where they could actually just appreciate the architecture of the building. And then we had a preview party just a couple days before opening, where those people got to come in and celebrate the success of the branch and see exactly what happened, and see what it looked like. And then we did a silent auction there, and then local business Nectar, which is delicious if you haven't been, they donated a portion of their proceeds for one day to Donaldson, which happened to be the day that the original Donaldson branch opened back in 1966. So that was a nice little bookend. And in total, it was about $46,000 raised, specifically both unrestricted, but then also 2 things: the caregiver child computer carol that you guys might have noticed in the branch. That was a $15,000 donation from the Stones River Women's Club. And then our mobile demonstration kitchen was a $6,000 donation for the Hip Donaldson, from the Hip Donaldson group. And so those were specifically earmarked for those things that we did not have to use FF&E budget to pay for. And we're able to repurpose those funds in other ways. So going forward, we have learned a lot of lessons, I think. And so we're going to be able to, do you want to talk about it? Yeah. Oh, yeah, sorry.
So from a marketing perspective, we've got design work coming up at Richland Park and Hadley, and then major renovations coming up at Green Hills and Hermitage. So some of the things that we would like to lean into a little bit more is the advocacy side, and just empowering the advocacy task force to engage council members a little bit more. We did a light job this time. I'd like to see more of that. In fact, Vice Mayor Henderson was at this grand opening and did talk about how she'd like to collaborate on a more formal way to engage council. We're going to continue to include real people with every project. For us, for me and my team, that's a non-negotiable. And I do just want to say, for me, this is such an affirmation of the investment to have a full suite integrated marketing agency in the library. So I really appreciate, on behalf of my team and on behalf of leadership, for you all making that investment. I will also say thank you, and something we'll continue to do is to ask you all to be ambassadors for these 4 projects that are coming up, and of course for everything we do here.
And I just might say, as it says, blueprint for future projects, we do have those 4 building projects coming up. And so what we're gonna do now is digest the information that we got from New Donaldson and figure out at what date do we need to have that roadmap in place? At what date do we need to have that website in place? At what date, I'm looking at shared systems, do we build those meeting rooms out, right? And like have those available and ready? And then it takes a village is what we figured out. And I think we all knew that was going to be the case. But again, I'm looking at shared systems. I know that they had their part. You guys did. And then we've got HR here, and there was a whole hiring process. We had to hire 11 people to get ready for this building. The foundation had to act as fiduciary for that fundraising activities, administration, marketing, communication. So it's really, it touched every single department of the library in one way or the other. And so I think that that's an important lesson, an important thing to think moving forward.
Okay, so that's it. We can answer any questions should you have any. And again, thank you so much. It's a privilege to work on this project.
Well, I just make a quick comment and then ask a question. You cannot talk about innovation without creativity. So thank you for leading that area to make this be a successful opening for us at the Donaldson location. I think that the councilman of that particular area, I know him and worked with him for over 20 years. I think he's going to be a great asset to your community in that area as well. So now that we have New Donaldson up, so let me shift this to Susan and Terry. What about Old Donaldson? What we're going to do?
We don't know yet.
Okay.
So to probably just give a little bit more.
I do have some things that come out, yes. But I put it on layaway for now.
I've asked the mayor's office to please let us keep the old Donaldson because, you know, we're in the process of negotiating with Nashville State and, you know, we're hoping that that goes through, but if it doesn't, then we do have a fallback. It's not going to be like a $3 million renovation, but we do have some funds to renovate. But also, we just have things here at Maine that if we needed to, you know, with the new bookmobile coming online, it's a perfect place, like we could park it there. There's shelving in there. So we just have to, I think once I know more about NECAT, then we can look at the other options
What has been the response
from,
to our mayor's office of whoever?
oh, says right now, we're
You okay?
keeping it,
Okay.
yes.
Great.
We're not doing anything with it right now, but we are keeping the facility.
Like I say, I have some
Maintaining
ideas, but I'll wait.
I'd love to hear.
Thank you. Any other questions? I had a question about, you said one of the organizations bought a piece of equipment that was related to something like, we
Yeah,
couldn't get in that room. There was something going on in there. We just couldn't go in.
Yeah, it's actually not in the program room for children. It's actually in by the windows on the second floor, and it is a computer station for adults, but attached to that is actually a little playpen. So if you have an infant or a toddler, you can safely keep your child with you or a child that you're caring for with you while you're working on your banking or your social media or whatever you want to do.
That's a great
So
idea.
we're the first library in the Nashville Public Library system to get one of those. Really excited for that. One other thing that I need to mention is some of the grants that we received. We've received grants from the state to do that solar bench outside and our universal changing table on the second floor. So that is a changing table that can accommodate adults. We're also the first branch to have one of those. So we're really excited for that piece.
What about security and cameras? And when you said the child, I thought about cameras on my baby.
We have a lot.
How's the security?
We have a lot of cameras in place.
Okay.
We're well covered.
Okay, good. Good.
This is just out of curiosity. So when we first toured it, there was this outdoor space, this beautiful space that you all recently had learned that you could utilize. Did you all put furniture out there? Like, was that a part of the tour? I'd just love to see what happened with it.
Furniture is on order for out there, the veranda.
Okay. Other questions?
Yeah. Balcony.
Any other questions?
While you're thinking of any other questions, just point of privilege, I think Andrea needs to thank Annie Herlocker for helping her with opening day. That was a volunteer that really helped coordinate that. And of course, Jennifer Fournier just deserves to be mentioned one more time
And
as
you
part of this
deserve to be
process.
mentioned. Just
You
thank
the
you,
project
everybody.
manager.
It was magnificent. Thank you. We were so proud. Thank you. And I've gotten calls, and I even got a voicemail Saturday that I tried to return about voting out there. Can we make this a voting? It's just continuing. But, you know, yes. Anything else for the day?
Do we have a retreat date?
Not yet.
Not yet. We
I think Miriam, she's still waiting
To hear from us?
for here, from the,
Well,
she
let's
sent out
call
a
us.
doodle
Can you
poll.
be proactive and call people who haven't responded? Okay, so just call them and tell them you need the date, so we can move on that. Okay,
Now, the next time, but we won't meet in August, but we will be at, we have a study session or something.
That's
None
what
of
I'm
that
talking
is
about. She's
confirmed,
trying
yeah,
to-
so
and
we have
Rosalind
to,
is helping to work on that, so, yeah.
so,
But the next board meeting is in August.
No.
No, we
there
don't
isn't.
have
I'm
a
having
meeting
in September.
September,
We're not
yes.
meeting in August.
Right.
We do have a
Right.
board meeting in September.
Yeah.
right.
And it's
so
here,
this-
September the
So I
17th,
needed, so.
at the Goodlettsville branch. It's in on,
Is it September?
on September 17th, Goodlettsville branch.
So I needed to reach out to Macy to be, to verify what is a study session, what is a board retreat, what needs to be open to the public. So we just talked about that. She let me know today, so then I'll need to get with Joyce about it, and then Rosalind.
So
And we'll
September
be-
13th comes off the calendar.
We don't know, because you may want that to be your retreat, since we have that, as a date that everybody can come. Because,
Let's keep it on the calendar.
yes,
Keep it on the
please.
calendar.
Well, we found out that whether it's a study session or it is a board retreat, it would be open to the public.
Okay.
So now I need to get back with Rosalind to start, we met once to start the planning, but we didn't know if we were gonna have both a study session and then a retreat. So now that we know, we'll get that together. So we have plenty of topics, and we'll reach out to ask for what you all would like to talk about as well.
Well, that was going to be my question. Do we need to have, because I know me, and so what I'll do is on the evening of September 12th, I'll say, oh, I know what I'm doing tomorrow, and we'll have thought zero about it.
So what I'd like to do, Keith, is that, we've done some research, Liz Coleman and several other staff members, I've asked them to look at what are other library systems doing in terms of security, and so the topic, but what would be helpful is there, Charvis has said he'd like to talk about technology, so I know that, but if you have, a topic that you would like us to include when we're planning the retreat, that would be great to know.
Security.
And
Anybody
Susan,
else?
Sherry, and I, and Mark Crowder met this week, and we're using our funding from the foundation, which is $40,000 for training. We're going to do internal training. The two areas we've heard that staff are most interested in is DEI and also security. And so what we'd like to do, we're just in the very beginnings of planning, and we're going to meet monthly, is to do a security kind of like summit, have a keynote speaker, and then have breakout sessions on de-escalation and those type of things. So we were meeting with, Mark and Susan and Sherry, and the topics that, we would have as part of that. And because staff they have asked us for a staff day. We're getting so big that it's really difficult, but we think if we manage it in this way, and we use the topic of safety and security, that we would be able to pull it off. And kudos to Sherry, because she's the one that, she's had some really good ideas for how we can make it work.
Okay. Anything else? Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. No, I can't make the
Oh,
motion. I'm
I
asking.
Move to adjourn.
Move to second.
There needs no second. All right. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for coming. 1:27.
What's that?
Regardless.